have a review of your marriage at least every 5 years. Like seriously, no jokes. Let's have an honest conversation about one thing that most human beings love. Let's talk about marriage. Personally, I'm very scared of marriage, and I'm going to dive right into this video by saying do not get married unless. That is something very important to keep in mind, because most people just dive into the institution of marriage because they're excited, because the hormones are high, because they're in love, without really delving deep in to ask themselves what exactly is marriage. Ruzhoff, my lovelies, inspiring you to live an empowered life. So my loves, do not get married unless someone is adding value to your life. And this is why. So imagine you marry someone, and I'm not talking even about the financial bit, which is also very important, but I'm talking about you marry someone that is going nowhere. You marry someone that is comfortable with their life, that is not considering to grow anywhere in which direction. This person is going to stagnate you. This person is going to suffocate you. This person is going to make you unhappy, and in the long run, you're going to fall out of love, because let's be honest, as human beings, we evolve, we keep changing. So imagine you marry some mediocre guy, some mediocre woman who is comfortable with where they are. I just want to be Mrs. So-and-so. I just want to be married to this beautiful girl, have 10 children, have a salary of I don't know how much depending on where you're living, and live a basic life. It could be what you want, but if you know still that this person is not adding value to your life in any way, do not get married. This is a bit controversial, but I strongly believe in it. Do not get married without a prenuptial. And I know some people are going to be like, oh my God, you can't do that. That shows you don't love someone. That shows you don't care. Well, let me tell you something. A prenuptial is something very simple. It's not as, negative as most people make it out to be. A prenuptial is just like a contract where you stipulate, what your desires are, what the conditions are, what the terms are. Let me give you an example. If I was to get married today and I had to, have prenups, I would want it to have something like, I desire to have an immediate divorce. I never ever want to go through a divorce for 2 years. It took me 2 years to get divorced. I never ever want to go through that. It takes a mental toll on you, an emotional toll on you. It's not worth it, I would want something like, if we separate, everyone goes their own way. I'm not interested in your property. I don't want to fight. If we have kids, we have an agreement how we take care of our kids, joint custody, and so on and so forth. But I never ever want to go into a divorce battle, into a divorce fight. We've had people go through dangerous battles with their partners during divorce because they had no prenups, and I feel it is not necessary. That is something that you can work out beforehand. But again, like I said, most people go into marriage not knowing it is a contract. The moment you sign a marriage certificate, you've entered a contract, and to go out of it, it is so difficult, much more complicated than even getting married. And I'm telling you from experience as a divorcee, do not get married without a prenup. Thank me later. And this is just me. Perfect marriage for me, and I think this is why I've taken long to get married again, is I've loved the freedom of being divorced, of being separated, of not having to share my space with a man 24/7, of not having to take the compromises. And it scares me to have to share my space with someone 24/7, and they even expect that. Those memes we see where a woman is like, after cleaning the house and you've taken the kids to bed, and then you have a husband waiting for you in bed. I don't have that. I have the choice of, now I want to see my partner, or maybe this weekend I'm spending it by myself, and I love it. But the thought of me living with a dude in the same house Monday to Sunday, sharing the same bed, even when I'm angry with him, or when, there could be days when you're going to hate your partner when you're married, or even just in a relationship. There are days you're like, oh my God, how did I even fall in love with this person? It is natural. And in those days, you'll need some space. But once you're married and staying in the same house, you can't have that space. So for me, perfect marriage would be, we are married, but we're staying in separate apartments or separate houses. We have the option to decide where we're actually spending the night, at yours or at mine. I find that quite romantic, and I think it keeps the spice. And I know that at least I have the option to not share the same bed with him if I don't feel like. So for me, that would be perfect scenario marriage. And if you're someone that is not yet married, that is maybe something to consider. And I do believe it works out. Because for me, I don't think that a marriage is perfect only if you're staying in the same house. How many people are lonely with their partners lying right next to them? You know, imagine you're in a loveless marriage, but you have to share the same house with this guy, the same bed, sit on the same table every day. It doesn't really necessarily mean that we're staying together so our relationship is perfect or our marriage is perfect. No, it's all about the quality, and we can do that by still staying in separate apartments or homes. Something to consider. Also, get married if you're ready for the repercussions. Like I said, marriage is a contract, a lifelong contract with terms and conditions. You know, it means your partner's dates, your partner's problems, your partner's mistakes to some extent are also yours. You're accountable for so many things because you signed a contract as a union. For me, perfect marriage would be us actually getting married without a legally binding contract. So I think I would call it just a wedding. We get married, we get our wedding, but we don't get to sign, like, you know, the civil wedding contract or something like that. And actually, you know, just have a good time and show each other that we're committed to each other. We can even exchange rings, but we don't have to have a legally binding thing, because again, if it doesn't work out, hopefully it does, because that's what everyone hopes for when they get married, then we just have to wake up in the morning, have a civil conversation, and everyone goes their separate ways. No fighting, no court, no nothing. For me, I think that would be the perfect scenario. But if you do decide to get married legally, this is something you must consider. Have a review of your marriage at least every 5 years. Like, seriously, no jokes this time. Have a review of your marriage every 5 years. Sit down, go on a date on your 5th anniversary or at home, make it cozy, reevaluate your marriage. You know, what are the things that have been working well in your marriage? What are things that are lacking? How do you feel about going forward with this marriage and with this relationship? I think it is important because it holds both of you accountable. Most people get into a marriage and after 5 years, 7 years, they start taking each other for granted. She's not going anywhere, he's not going anywhere. But if we know that after every 5 years, we're going to reevaluate our marriage, and there's an option of even ending it if things are not working out and we're not willing to come to a joint, conclusion, I think both parties will put in more effort, just like we do at work, at the office. You'll not take your partner for granted. And I think that is very, very important to keep in mind. So unless your partner is willing to always grow and nurture your marriage and nurture you as a couple and nurture your relationship, do not get married. So my lovelies, of course, this is a social empowerment channel. It's not just my views, but I'm also here to start a conversation, and then you can always join in the comment section. What are your views when it comes to getting married? What should one consider before they get married? Or if I use the statement, do not get married unless, complete the statement in the comment section with your own tips. Otherwise, my love, whatever your choice is, if you do decide to get married, let the reason you get married be bigger than love. Love alone is not enough to sustain a marriage. I know, very sad, sounds disappointing, but that's the reality. Like I told you, when you are in a relationship, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, long term, you evolve, you grow, you change. The person you found attractive 5 years ago may no longer be attractive, maybe because they've changed their body shape, maybe they've got some ailments, maybe their behavior is different, maybe they're stagnant, they are not growing and you're growing. Maybe you're no longer having interesting conversations. Like for me, that would matter because I'm a sapiosexual, so I want someone I can have stimulating conversations with. I don't want some boring dude, I want someone intelligent. And if my partner after 5 years turns out to be the comfortable kind that just sits around and massages his big belly and nothing serious is coming out of him, I would probably fall out of love with him. So you really have to know that love enough is not enough. And even if I still loved him, I would get bored with him. I would start getting attracted to other people that are stimulating me mentally. So make sure whatever the reason you get married, love alone is not enough. It has to be someone that you're compatible with. It has to be someone that maybe fulfills your values. If you want princess treatment, then make sure it's someone that is going to give you princess treatment. Or if your core values are family, then make sure it's someone that is high on family values. So that even on the days when you hate your partners, even on the days when you're not happy with each other, even on the days when you fought or you've had conflicts, you still have something that keeps you together. I really hope this helps anyone that is out there and is intending to get married. And of course, even someone who is married, you could use these tips to spice up your marriage, or work out some things that are not working, and we meet one day, should I ever decide to get married. I'm definitely not against marriage, but it scares me. Okay, it scares me because I get that question a lot. I love love, I love marriage, I'm a sucker for love, but it scares me. The reality scares me. My lovelies, thank you so much for watching, for being so faithful to our family, for all the new members. I love you, and of course the people that have been here from day one. You are the real MVPs. If you're new here, subscribe, like the video, share it, spread the gospel, spread the love, and let's grow together. I'm here to inspire, uplift, and empower you.